Hair loss affects at least 80% of men and half of women by the age of 70.
Really?
No wonder I'm losing all my hair.
When you see the visible portions of your scalp, at least 50% of the scalp hair has already been lost.
Seriously?
This is the reason why I always stress detecting something early and correcting it, as taking care of something that has already advanced is very difficult.
Do I have any hope?
As a practicing dermatologist and hair specialist with tons of experience when it comes to managing conditions of the hair, I'm also aware how challenging it is to address this condition. There are so many treatment options to choose from today, and I'm also aware how frustrating it is for the patient to continue with the treatment in order to see visible results. In this video, I'll try my best to decode the FDA approved treatments that are available along with all the others so that I can guide you on your journey towards treating one of the most common causes of hair loss that everyone will encounter in their lifetime, and that is androgenetic alopecia, which is better known as male or female pattern hair loss. I like dividing the treatment options into three types: the medical management, the surgical management or what procedures you can get done, and the third is what I like to call the happy-go-lucky way. And these three treatment types take into consideration 2 points:
the need for treatment
and the desire for treatment. If you are someone who desires a head full of healthy hair or have been told about the need for hair regrowth, you'll enjoy this video as you learn about the various options that are available today.
So let's get nerdy.
Alrighty, so the first thing that you have available as part of the medical management is topical minoxidil. It is widely available at stores and online, and it is one of the only 3 FDA approved treatments for androgenetic alopecia or male and female pattern baldness, and I'll most oftenly try to refer to this because this is the better terminology.
What does the literature say?
Topical minoxidil was specifically approved for the use of male and female pattern baldness early in the 1980s. Did you know that the oral formulation was used in the 1960s as a vasodilator for patients of hypertension, that is, those having high blood pressure? And doctors started observing hypertrichosis, that is, excessive hair growth on different parts of the body in those patients who were taking this treatment for a long period of time. And when they saw this, some clever folks decided to use the topical formulation for hair regrowth.
Clever, right?
Now, in clinical trials, minoxidil has shown time and again, and we have seen it in practice too, that it can effectively stop hair loss, stimulate hair growth, and strengthen existing strands of hair. But remember that while minoxidil can help, it is unlikely that you're going to get a scalp full of hair. Means your bald area is not going to magically turn into a hairy area, if that makes sense.
How and when should I use topical minoxidil?
Minoxidil is readily available in 2 concentrations, 2 and 5%. You also have 10%, but we are not going to get into that right now. You get it as foam and liquid preparations. It needs to be applied over the areas of the scalp where there is hair thinning present, and you need to gently massage it into your scalp. I find the use of 5% minoxidil once a day for women and twice a day for men to be very effective. But remember,
you need to apply it every single day. Okay, how long does it take to see results?
I experience some respond to minoxidil better than others. If minoxidil works for you, just like any other topical solution or any form of treatment, to be honest, it will take 6 to 12 months to see visible results. You need to continue using it as long as you wish to retain hair over your head. When using minoxidil, some people can develop an irritated scalp. The newer formulations, which are foam based, tend to reduce this risk, but other possible side effects that you should be aware of are an itchy scalp, headaches. Also make sure that when you apply it, it does not dribble over your face,
especially in women,
because you will then notice unwanted hair growth in those areas, like over your forehead or the sides of your face and chin and cheek.
Ew. And what happens if I stop using minoxidil?
If you stop using it, you will stop seeing any effect on the hair as well.
It's that simple.
You sure will see good results once you start using it, but you will lose all those benefits as soon as you stop using it. Also, because minoxidil helps you maintain your hair's thickness, your hair may look and feel thinner once you stop using it. You'll also gradually notice that you've started shedding more hair.
Oh no.
I'm not trying to discourage you, but I'm just stating the truth. Alrighty, on number 2, we have finasteride and dutasteride. Now, these are prescription medications.
That means you will not get them over the counter.
That's correct.
So, what does the literature say?
The more commonly used of the two is finasteride, and it had been FDA approved for the treatment of male pattern baldness in 1997. Both these medications, finasteride and dutasteride, they act by inhibiting an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. This is the enzyme that is responsible for the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone that you must have heard as DHT.
Okay, so how and when to use it?
These are available as 1 and 5 milligram tablets, and we make use of the lower dose, that is 1 milligram, for the treatment of male pattern baldness. It is not approved for the use in women. It is assigned pregnancy category X, that means it is teratogenic. It is absolutely
A no.
because it can cause ambiguous genitalia in a male fetus. Hence, it is always recommended that you consult your dermatologist before you start these medications. And you will have to because you need a prescription for the same.
Okay. How long does it take to see results with finasteride?
If finasteride works for you, it will take at least 6 to 12 months before you can start seeing visible results.
And possible side effects?
There have been certain side effects that have been reported with the use of these medications. These include loss of libido, that is the desire to have sex, inability to get or keep an erection, swelling and tenderness of the breasts, and even depression. It has also been reported that these sexual side effects can continue even after you stop taking finasteride. And due to the seriousness of these side effects, it is best to discuss this with your dermatologist before you start taking them.
Oh my god! And what happens if you stop taking finasteride?
Just like minoxidil, you must continue taking the pill every day to maintain the results. In my clinical experience, the combination of topical minoxidil and oral finasteride work very well. But now we know what they're capable of doing apart from hair growth as well.
So that is something you want to keep in mind.
Remember, once you stop taking the medication,
The hair loss will return.
that's right. And the third thing that I want to cover as part of the medical management are some of the devices that can be helpful for hair growth. And this is currently one of my favorite ways. Several devices are now available to take care of hair loss at home. The FDA has cleared some, so if you see FDA cleared on the packaging or within the information booklet, then this means that the FDA recognizes that device as a safe treatment modality for at-home use.
But I want to bring one point to your notice.
The requirements for FDA clearance are much less strict as compared to those required for FDA approval.
Alright?
Nonetheless, men and women, and I have seen it for myself, that we do see very good improvement and hair regrowth, especially when they're used in combination or in addition to other treatment modalities. There are a lot of products available for at-home use today, and there are many factors to consider before you make a choice.
I'll deal with this in a separate video.
What I have experience with and I'm particularly fond of is the Revion's Red Growth Hair System. I believe that's the entire name. There are other good ones too, I believe, but I have experience with this, and it is by far the simplest to incorporate in your routine, and it is very robust. We've actually seen results with it, and I highly recommend them. Just a note, if you really want to get this product, your doctor or dermatologist should be able to give you a special discount code. It's not available with everyone, it's not on their site. I will try to put mine in the description below so that you can make use of it if you want to get it, but this is a good one to consider. So this was the discussion about the medical management or the medical treatment options for the treatment of male or female pattern hair loss. I haven't touched about the alternatives to minoxidil or the other topical serums and the natural alternatives that are available, since that would make the video very lengthy. I have covered individual topics in separate videos in the past, and if of the three medical options that we discussed, that's minoxidil, finasteride and dutasteride, or hair growth devices, I would still recommend starting with the hair growth laser caps that are available, but make sure you get a good one because they show good effects without the side effects. if I might say.
More on that later.
Alrighty, now let's discuss the surgical options that are available for treating androgenetic alopecia or male and female pattern hair loss. The first one is hair transplantation. This is one of the best semi-permanent solutions for taking care of a receding hairline or a bald spot, and it is the secret behind most of your on-screen idols who continue to have a head full of healthy hair. Now, if you opt for hair transplantation, you will realize that there are two types of procedures that are being done. FUE, that is follicular unit extraction, or FUT, that is follicular unit transplantation, based on your choice of surgeon and his expertise, along with the extent of your hair loss. The type of procedure is determined. Now, essentially, both these procedures differ in the way that donor hair is extracted from your scalp. But what basically happens during hair transplantation is that the donor hair, the good healthy hair follicles, are extracted from the back of your scalp, that's the occiput, and then they will be transplanted into the areas of hair thinning or balded areas, but generally more towards where there is hair thinning. Now, an important point that I want you to keep in mind is that hair transplantation does not act on the root cause of hair loss. So you may still need to continue using topical minoxidil or any other topical formulation or any other treatment modality that is going to act on the basis, the root cause of androgenetic alopecia or male and female pattern hair loss. Or you may even need a retransplant in the future, especially if you've had the procedure done at a younger age. The second type of procedure that I want to discuss as part of the surgical management is something known as PRP, that is platelet-rich plasma. This is an in-office procedure that involves drawing your blood and then separating out the plasma that is rich and concentrated in platelets by a special method of centrifugation. This platelet-rich plasma is rich in growth factors and can stimulate the repair of blood vessels, also promote wound healing, and hence it is an excellent addition to hair transplantation and medical forms of management.
A word of caution though.
I know of so many centers who don't know the correct technique of preparing PRP or platelet-rich plasma. Some simply separate the serum from the blood and inject it in the name of PRP. So make sure you get your treatment sessions from a board-certified dermatologist who is an expert in this procedure and who knows what they are doing, alright?
Otherwise, you're better off not getting this procedure done at all,
instead of wasting your precious blood and hard-earned money. Also remember that PRP is not a permanent solution either.
You will need follow-up sessions.
And the third option that I want to discuss is what I like to call the happy-go-lucky way.
What is it?
Going bald can be a big change, and it is normal to have trouble accepting your changing appearance. But you don't have to treat this type of hair loss if you don't wish to. Remember, all the treatment options that we discussed today need to be maintained over a very long period of time, almost till the time you wish to experience the benefits of these results.
That is hair growth.
Most forms of treatment can reduce further hair loss and some help regrow hair. But I want to address a very important issue here. This condition is more aesthetically distressing than actually causing significant harm to the body. History is testimony because even Vincent van Gogh's famous painting On the Threshold of Eternity,
also known as The Old Man in Sorrow,
is thought to depict deep depression, partly attributed to his balding scalp. So if you are someone who's unaffected by external appearances and can graciously accept the loss of hair over time, not opting for any particular treatment will be just fine. I'll repeat what I said before.
You don't have to treat this type of hair loss unless you wish to.
Okay, got it.
A very good option that's readily available today without the need to continue treatment time and again or being subjected to some of the side effects that are present with the use of them is something known as hair camouflage techniques. This includes things like wigs, weaves, toupee, and hair pieces. But if the receding hairline or thinning of hair is not something you're okay with, and you want to proactively do something about it, then I am here to assure you that there are plenty of options available to halt and possibly reverse it. But remember, it requires time, patience, and an earlier start towards the correction. Just FYI.
A bald scalp looks just as sexy and appealing as a head full of healthy hair.
It ultimately boils down to your perception of beauty and desire. I know treating androgenetic alopecia or male and female pattern baldness can seem overwhelming. As I mentioned before, it comes down to two things: the need for treatment
and the desire for treatment.
Also, what we discussed today is just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of factors that need to be taken into account when it comes to treating pattern hair loss and regrowing hair. I also want to stress on the importance of diet and lifestyle, which play a very important role in hair growth. As with any form of treatment, I have seen the best results when the treatment is individualized and tailored according to your body type and your schedule and your routine, and what is it that you are going to adhere to and follow up for a long period of time, because every human body's needs, requirements and circumstances are different. Alright?
Okay.
Don't forget to give this video a like and don't keep this information to yourself. Share the video so that we can help even more people make educated and good choices for themselves. Continue to glow, thrive and shine as always.
Take care and see you soon.